Let's take our monthly look at the rural real estate market with the GM of real estate for PGG Wrightson. His name is Peter Newbold. He does that job by day, by night, or in his weekends. He plays golf occasionally, off a dishonest handicap too, if I might make a little snide comment there. I jest, of course, Peter, but you're a member at the Hills because you live in the beautiful Gibbston Valley region in central Otago. You're going to catch up with the New Zealand Golf Open over the next few days?
Yeah, it'd be nice to go along and have a look on one of the days. I guess if you look at the weather here, it looks like it's come right after some pretty cold weather over the last couple of days, but I think they're in for some great weather and hopefully that'll turn into some good golf.
Oh, it'll be a fantastic occasion. Talking about chill winds, the dairy sector's felt that in recent times, especially when it comes to land sales. But today, Fonterra lifted the forecast payout for the current season by 30 cents. Is dairy... I know selling dairy units has been very, very sticky, but eventually it will become a yield story shortly. We heard Nathan Penny from ASB suggesting $7 for the coming season or the next season. If it gets to that, will that rekindle interest in the dairy sector, or have people had their hands burned?
Look, I think it will, and I think if you look at the whole thing, you look at dairy, sheep, beef, everything is looking really positive. So if you go back to your question around dairy, yes, it will, but I still think some of those marginal properties are probably going to go into different sectors, and I think that trend has actually started. Land use will play a big role over the next 12 to 18 months, I believe, which has been, historical over the generations.
Exactly. If we go back to just after World War II, every little town in the country had a dairy factory. They all closed when the wool boom happened and the sheep boom happened in the 50s and 60s. So what goes round comes round. I hear that there's, for instance, a couple of dairy farms in the King Country, which is more sort of hill country, not really intensive land, that are being decommissioned, going back to sheep and beef.
Yeah, look, we are, Jamie, seeing a few dairies changing back into sheep and beef, but also we're seeing other land uses going into horticulture and viticulture. So it's not just sitting with one sector; we're seeing it through, and I think that's just a trend that'll take place. And as I said, it'll only gain in momentum, and it seems to be probably taking place more in the North Island than the South Island at the moment.
I see that you're at the lowest point in number of sales for the past 6 years. You're 500 less transactions of farm properties than you were in 2014. Mind you, there was a bit of a dairy boom on in 2014. Do you see yourself getting back to those numbers?
Yeah, well, I've always said that I think we're at the bottom of the cycle at the moment in units and in value. The challenge at the moment is looking ahead and seeing, is that going to increase? If you ask the question today, I would say we're going to see that static for a wee while, but at some point, like all things, it will come back up, and I think that'll take place as more of these properties change into different usage. But definitely we're at the low point in both units and in value. And I guess you're also seeing that in a change of, what's being sold. You're seeing, a bigger increase in sheep and beef and a decline in dairy. And as we were discussing earlier, that big category of grazing and finishing is a significant part of the overall rural sales.
Are you still seeing the dairy farmers, for instance, chasing the sheep and beef guys on some of these grazing or finishing blocks, i.e. so that they can be self-contained in the battle against M. bovis?
Yeah, definitely there is that, but it's not just confined to dairy. I think if you look at it, anywhere from, up to 40% of the rural sales around that sort of small grazing, finishing, and so it's not just, as I said, dairy. It's everybody is looking at that area at the moment. So, look, it's an area that probably sits under the radar a bit. We all sort of talk about the big dairies and big sheep and beef, but that grazing small block area is a big part of our market.
Now, you can check out our PGG Wrightson Property of the Week on our website, thecountry.co.nz. Click on Rural Properties. Peter Newbold, thanks for your time. Enjoy the golf if you get a chance to go to the beautiful Hills Golf Club there in Arrowtown.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jamie, and you have a good day.